There is such a thing as being in the wrong place at the wrong time, especially if the Secret Service is nearby. Stacy Sweet tells us about one young man who was waiting for a date and ended up in the government computer.
It's common knowledge that wherever the president is, the Secret Service is not too far away. And of course, the same holds true for his daughter, Chelsea. Anything that looks strange is sure to be looked into quickly by the first family's protectors. 28-year-old MTV writer Tom Cohen is one person who looks strange to the Secret Service.
Suddenly I had a relationship with the Secret Service.
A relationship that began while he was anxiously waiting for a date. Tom was walking around and looking for her outside this bookstore near the Stanford University campus in Palo Alto, California, when the university's most famous student, Chelsea Clinton, went inside.
I sort of looked her in the eye when she walked by, and I sort of thought to myself, well, that's cool.
But for Tom Cohen, the chance meeting quickly became a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I had absolutely no idea that she would be there.
But the Secret Service wasn't so sure. To them, Tom was a potential stalker. Alone, waiting and pacing around in front of the store, he alarmed Chelsea's protectors. But for someone who has never even seen the Secret Service, Tom himself was now getting suspicious.
It occurred to me that, maybe they're looking at me, and then I thought they probably are. I mean, that's what they do, but I never assumed they'd talk to me or come up to me and approach me.
Tom gave up waiting for his date and started walking towards a diner across the street. He heard footsteps closely behind him when suddenly a Secret Service agent told him to back off. Minutes later, another agent sat down and questioned him while he was eating.
Secret Service accosted me and interrogated me and wondered what I was doing there and why I was pacing around the bookstore.
In front of the Borders bookstore in New York City, Tom showed me exactly what he was doing that made the Secret Service so interested in him. Do you think anything you did that day could have been construed as suspicious?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely was loitering around outside a bookstore. I was walking in and out, looking at my watch. I guess that's sort of normal behavior, but when you're in one place for an hour, I guess that's quote-unquote suspicious.
In order to protect Chelsea, the Secret Service basically has to evaluate every single place that she travels. The Secret Service looks at each situation as a potential threat.
Richard Buendorf is a former Secret Service agent who guarded Chelsea's dad, Bill Clinton.
Depending on the outfit the person was wearing, depending on how he paced back and forth in front of the bookstore, how he looked at Chelsea, and all sorts of indicators, it made an agent feel uncomfortable.
And Tom's run-in with the Secret Service did not end with the conversation in the diner. The Secret Service ran a background check on the car he was driving. It belonged to his brother David, who Tom was in California visiting. This note was placed on his brother's door. Would like to speak to you regarding your brother's visit to Palo Alto.
A member of the Secret Service called me to ask me about why my brother was hanging out and looking peculiar in Palo Alto.
And embarrassingly enough, they also called the girl who stood Tom up.
If it means better security for the president and his family, then I can deal with a few days of inconvenience.
In fact, Tom's a pretty good sport and says his brush with Chelsea Clinton and the scary encounter with the Secret Service was the highlight of his trip.
I don't mind being interrogated by the Secret Service, but don't stand me up.
Don't wait an hour for it to show up either. When we asked Tom about how his being in the government files affected him, he said he didn't really mind. It was worth the story he had to tell.